Hello guys, this is Fluorescent FIFA here. For more manual craziness, I am playing on manual controls against assisted with extra parameters or challenges decided by you guys. Last time out, we made a good start. We successfully passed the first challenge, which was to score only an open goal using the fancy pass button. As you can see, we won 1-0. I'm doing all of these challenges in the head-to-head cup because I'm not going to do these ranked because it will ruin the record that I've got. The second challenge I have decided to do is from the EA forums. It's from my manual movement post. If you don't use the EA forums, or if you do use them but aren't familiar with the thread's just called the manual movement. It was about the series I did before. Someone put one on there that I was very interested to give a go. And the challenge in that one was to use a different camera, specifically this one. The Pro camera. If you play in the arena, let's put that on default. If you play on the arena, you will be familiar with it because it is the one that we have here. Obviously, when you use an entire team, it's a bit different, and I have done this maybe once or twice ever. But this could be nightmarish. What I always do is I always pick, or I am always going to pick, a random team. Last time we ended up with some random team from Sweden, so let's see how we go here. Who are we going to get? What league we got? We got England. Should we do Premier League? Let's do Premier League. Let's see who we get. We could end up with anyone here. It's going to be Swansea. Right, okay. Swansea it is. Controller settings are, of course, on full manual, and I'm doing this against, well, assisted players or some combination of something that probably won't be full manual. Let's just get on with it. Swansea are a team. Actually, I've used Swansea a couple of times. I really do like using Swansea. I've been really impressed with them this season as well. I don't know if you all watching this follow the Premier League. I expect most of you do. Swansea, of course, being the first Welsh team to make it into the Premier League. Are they the first Welsh team ever to be in the top division? I don't know, and I can't seem to find a match, which is a bit unhelpful. Come on, there must be someone out there. Anyone? Great. I'm going to keep searching until I find a game, because obviously last time we found a game with a 2.5-star team, so 3.5 shouldn't be a problem. I don't understand what the issue is. But Swansea, there we go. Swansea have really impressed me this season. First Welsh team in the Premier League, and they play some really good stuff. They play kind of the kind of thing that I like to play on manual. They're kind of like a cheap version of Barcelona. Obviously not as good, but just the way they keep the ball and the sort of philosophy that they have. Brendan Rodgers has done an amazing job. But it's so good to see a team not be afraid to just keep the ball and pass it and play the right way, especially a team that's come up. And I know other teams in the past. Who's that? New York Red Bulls. This is a team with Henry in it, isn't it? It's just so nice to see a team, come up and pass it and actually have some success. I know West Brom did that a few seasons back, but got relegated doing it. Blackpool tried doing it last season and got relegated for it, but Swansea have done amazingly, and they're almost about to overtake my team, Liverpool, which is disgusting. Anyway, oh, grief. This is going to be horrible. I can't see. Okay. Pro camera angle is... The problem with it is actually... Oh my lord, what am I doing? Finishing, I think, might not be too bad on this. But... I think passing, because as you can see the camera's constantly moving. A lot of people have asked me what camera I normally use, and the camera I normally use is a telly. I can't see the defender coming. The camera I normally use is a customized camera on the telly setting. It's with height 9, zoom 7. And that's the camera I used in FIFA 11. I liked the new camera angle in FIFA 12, the telly broadcast one. The problem was is every time I tried to use it, I couldn't shoot at all. What happened was I kept getting loads of chances, but not being able to take any of them. And this is difficult. I don't know. The guy who set me this challenge on the forums apparently says he does this all the time. I would love to know how. I'm assuming my goalkeeper saved that. I have no idea. I can't see. Right, I can't let him. Oh my god. What kind of view is this? Ah! No! Go into that gap. Yeah, sorry. The guy who set me this challenge apparently says he uses this camera angle all the time. But I just find that hard to believe. Hang on, I've got a chance. Get up, get up, get up, Graham! You prat. I have never come across anyone who uses this camera angle. If you do, please tell me. I would be really interested to know how on earth you do it. Because the reason I have the tele camera is that it stays stationary. No matter where you go, no matter what stadium you play in, it doesn't vary. The problem I had with the tele broadcast one was even when I customized it, it still moved a bit between stadia. Oh, go on. Oh, what a goal! Sigurdsson! Oh my word, yes. How about that? I don't believe it. I've scored a manual finesse shot on the pro camera angle. Sorry, Kaka West. I do not believe it. That's amazing. I'm in shock. The problem is also what I'm having real trouble defending with this camera because I can't track what's going on. Yeah, the tele angle that I use doesn't vary when you change stadium, but the tele broadcast one, even though I customized it, did vary, and I think that's part of what I had a problem with. I've mentioned it to a couple of other people, and they've said the reason they don't like it is because it moves with stadium. Oh god, that was terrible. And that when you play, if you're unfamiliar with manual controls, the thing is that because the ball goes exactly where you aim, it goes relative. I'm going to try. I have to be careful with how I word this. It goes relative to where your sort of your view on the camera, not relative to your player, if that makes any sense. But it basically means that if your camera varies with... Pull it back. Oh. If your camera varies with... oh, no, 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 no. If your camera varies with stadium, it effectively means that certain things you're going to have to aim differently every stadium, and it'll take you a while to adapt each time. That was the problem I had with it. A lot of the time I was struggling with shooting in particular. Passing wasn't too bad because passing stayed fairly similar, but the fact that it seemed to vary in different heights and different zooms almost, even with a customized one, was what I had a problem with. And he's going to be wide, thank you. So that is why I use the telecamera. Obviously, the thing I'm finding with this one is I think when you play in the arena, if people do that a bit, I just do it sometimes when I'm just messing around. But I find that quite interesting that my finishing is really good in the arena. I think that's one of the advantages to this camera, and I think that's what the guy was saying who suggested this challenge to me, was because you sort of really can see exactly where you're going a lot of the time, or certainly when you're in a situation where you're trying to run in on goal. It does give you a hand, because camera angle actually I think has a lot more of an effect on manual than it does compared to other players. That was messy. How was that a foul? So I think whilst passes are a bit more tricky, I'd say that you can see there it takes so long to sort of swing into the position for me to see what's going on with my defending that it's really quite hard to defend. But going forward, if I get a one-on-one, or if I've got just a thing where I can run in and have time to sort of pick and place a shot, I think this camera might be an advantage in that respect. But the difference is I'm finding it so blooming difficult to get into a position. Obviously, I did actually manage to score, to my amazement. What the hell was that? Oh, is he going to get there? Not quite what I meant, but I'll take it. Get in. Oh, what a save! Oh, I can't believe he saved that. That was amazing. Who's the Red Bull? I don't know who the Red Bull New York Red Bulls goalkeeper is. Did I call them Redbird? I can't talk. Sorry, I've completely forgotten how to pronounce anything. This is crazy. But yeah, obviously, I don't know whether or not. Oh no. Would someone unassisted use this camera angle? Good save, Vorm. got away with that one. I'd really like to know your guys' opinions on this. Actually, what cameras do you use? Do you use the one that I've suggested? Do any of you use this? If you're an assisted player who's come across this, tell me what camera angle you use. I'd really be quite interested to know, because I've found that the camera I use is great for passing in general, because you can see so much of the pitch, you can see what's going on. It makes it easier to pick out a kind of cross-field ball, which you might not be able to see with a kind of zoomed-in camera. I know the telebroadcast one is also quite good for that, but I do struggle slightly with finishing, because the problem is if you zoom your camera out a lot, then it can be quite difficult because you have to be so precise with your finishing on manual controls. And obviously the further out you are, the sort of less of an angle you've got, you know, the more precise you have to be with your aiming. Is he given a penalty? Oh, I will take that. Thank you. Scott Sinclair. I like to put these in. I like to aim for the top corner when I do penalties. Oh. Not like that. That I guess I should forget the idea I had of doing a penalty tutorial. That's annoying. I had this game wrapped up if that had gone in. Never mind. I suppose, yeah, actually, looking at that again, he has been kind of unlucky, hasn't he? 61% possession, though, that's not bad. And I know I'll end up banging on about this a lot across videos, but why have you paused it? But if you generally watch, if you've seen the manual movement series, where it's me playing against assisted players, obviously with not using a kind of gimmick or whatever like I am in this one. But if you have watched that series, you'll know that one of the recurring themes was that on manual you tend to have so much more possession when you play an assisted player because they're so used to fast tempo, throwing it up the pitch a lot, and they're sort of afraid, it seems, to keep the ball. Or at least afraid to build slowly just because they know that building so quickly can work. That wasn't a foul, referee. But it's going to be effective in this because defending with this camera angle is really difficult because I just can't see what's going on a lot of the time. Although, when you're on the attack... Oh, no. Go, go, go. It's also quite difficult to pick someone out because you can't really see what's happening in the box. I still can't believe I missed that penalty. I mean, if you're familiar with some of my videos, you'll know that I complain about my defending. I complain about my own defending at the best of times because I'm not very good at it, or I'd use a style that's not very effective. I got playing against assisted players. Actually, if you're a manual player who wants to improve at defending, I recommend playing against assisted players in the cut windows because that made me improve a lot. Simply because you have to be so much more careful with allowing your opponent's chances, because manual shooting is good to save goalkeeper. Manual shooting is harder than assisted in a lot of circumstances. A lot of the time, I love the fact that manual gives you more freedom with passing and so on, but manual shooting is more difficult. And it's so much more satisfying, I should mention, if you score a 25-yard goal on manual, or if you score a finesse shot on manual, then that's really difficult to do from a long distance, and you know that you did it as well because you did the aim, you got the power right. Whereas if you just do it on assisted, it's just the game deciding for you, and so if you use manual shooting, it's much more satisfying for you when you do score a decent goal. But when you're trying to improve at defending, if you allow people on assisted space, especially space to try and curl a finesse shot, the amount of time finesse shots go in on assisted is obscene. It's pretty horrible. Obviously, it's kind of ironic that the episode I'm talking about, this is the one where I've managed to score one on manual. But I'm still in a bit of shock that I actually managed to do that. so close. That's pretty much the only thing I seem to be able to do. I realise it's a bit one-dimensional at the minute, but it's not easy with this camera angle because it's so hard to see what's going on. I'd love to know how people do this normally. I could not do this regularly. Oh, no. Don't know what I was thinking there. But yeah, if you want to improve at defending, I recommend playing against assisted players because it does force you into being so precise with your positioning and stuff, because you really can't, you just can't allow them a shot a lot of the time. It's just too much of a risk. Obviously, I've ended up giving my opponent a fair few chances this time, but the thing is, he's using who is it? New York Red Bulls, who aren't the best team. When you're playing against sort of 4.5, 5-star teams, playing against the best strikers, the amount they score is just silly. But it improved my defending a lot, the manual movement series, because when you get used to sort of allowing your opponents no chances whatsoever, when you go back to playing on manual where the amount of times that shots go in is reduced, unless you're against the very, very best finishers, then it will help you out a lot. Foul, referee. And similarly, when I played the manual movement series, one thing I noticed is that in general, the assisted players defending was a lot worse than the manual players defending, because they're not used to the sort of freedom that manual gives you. Damn it. Not used to the kind of freedom that manual gives you in general, and the way you can place your passes into big open spaces and things like that. And I found that a lot of the time I found assisted opponents easier to break down, simply because they're not used to. They're so used to having to. Oh, that was a dreadful pass. Having to play along sort of set lines. They know that passes are always, or pretty much always, going to go to feet, so they'll mark people to feet. Whereas in manual, you can pass it around the space a bit more. They know that through balls are going to go a set distance ahead of the play. You're not going to have, or you're not able to exploit the acres of space to move into sometimes on assisted, whereas on manual you can fling a through pass as far as you want. God, save Vorm, thank you. So if you want to find out, it's a good way of testing sort of certain things in attack as well, because assisted players defending, I think in general, isn't as good. There were a couple of guys in the manual movement who actually, one of them, his defending was so good I barely made a chance in the whole game. That pass was terrible again. But in general, I think it's a really good forum for practicing your defence. I am now going to try and concentrate because I'm very close to this. So yeah, Swansea are doing me well. I'm enjoying playing with Swansea. That was stupid. I need to go defensive again. No, not ultra. Not ultra. But the thing is that situation there, going back to the camera that I was talking about earlier, whilst I did manage to get the tackle in, it's so difficult to see whether or not someone's making a run in behind. I'd imagine that, I'm assuming you can customise this much like you can the other one, and that might make things easier. But the amount it swings and the things that you can't see, if someone's making a run to one side now, I sure as hell can't see it. 1 minute of stoppage time. So that's what I've been struggling with the most. I mean, thankfully... Oh! Is that it? Oh, alright. Is that it? There we go. I'm not having the female voice again. Okay. So, challenge number 2 was... Can you win a game using the pro camera angle? Challenge passed. I am 2 for 2 on challenges so far. I don't know what the next one's going to be, but the ridiculous thing is I could be on my way to the head-to-head cup trophy here, doing ridiculous things against assisted players. I am going to leave it there for this one. If you want to see another challenge, if you have a challenge in mind that you would like me to try, then please let me know. Leave it in a comment below. If you have any idea about suggestions for improving this, if there's something specific you want me to talk about, because it would be good if you have specific ideas for things for me to discuss during these episodes, because that would save me having to trail off, which I'm aware I probably have done on a couple of occasions. And then leave that in your comment. If you enjoyed the video, please click like, because I really appreciate it. If you are not already subscribed, then please subscribe for more, and in the meantime, play manual.